Hello everybody and welcome back to Business Statistics Online at Frederick Community College. In this video, I will show you how to use Excel to solve one of the problems in your online homework. In particular, I'm looking at problem 1 for section 14.3. Several students had questions about this problem, so let's go ahead and solve it. You might of course get different numbers generated, but the idea should be exactly the same. So if you take a look at this problem, it's asking to compute 3 different things, and if you click on this button right here, it will let you open your data in Excel file. So I already did that, and as you see this file right here, I pre-made some other things. So I put a column where I'm going to store the products of x and y squared, and so forth. Okay, so let's see what the first question is asking us to do. It says calculate the slope and y-intercept for these data. We're going to go to data analysis, pick regression. For the input y range, we're going to highlight this column here. For x range, this column right here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put the information that's going to be computed in one of the cells, and this looks great. Okay, so now let's see what we need to extract from here. We need the y-intercept and the slope, and these are the numbers right over here. Okay, let's go back to our problem and let's see what they want us to do. 4 decimal places. So my y-intercept is negative 3.4706. Okay. All right, I'm going to store this number here, and x variable is 1.3824, right? Okay, so I'm going to store these values here, and now let's go ahead and compute everything else. So the first thing that we need to compute is the total sum of squares. How are we going to do that? I'm going to find the product of each x and the corresponding y, like this, x times y, and then I'm going to highlight the cell and just drag it down. And you can check that 3 times 0 is 0, so that's one of the values. Similarly, I'm going to find y squared, so y squared, drag it, okay. In addition, I'm going to find the sum of all values in these 3 columns. So the sum of y's, then the sum of xy, and the sum of y squared. Okay, so these numbers right here I will need at some point to compute these quantities. Okay, let's take a look at the first quantity asked. So calculate the total sum of squares, and I have Pearson text open, and it says that the total sum of squares is the summation of y squared minus the summation of y quantity squared divided by the sample size, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Excel file and say this is equal to what? It's the summation of y squared, so that's this guy right here, minus the sum of y's quantity squared, and divide by the number of observations, okay, number of pairs here, so we have 5. Okay, and that's going to be our answer for part B. We're going to check if all of these are right. Then it says partition the sum of squares into the SSR and SSE. Okay, when we go back to the text, and on the next page you will see the formula for the sum of squares errors. Okay, that's this one right here. You don't need to memorize it, you can look it up. So what do we need? We need the sum of y squares, we need the y-intercept, the slope, and these other sums that we've already computed. So I just need to carefully plug this into our Excel file. Okay, so we need the sum of y squares minus what? The y-intercept. So I'm going to be just a little cautious here and put parentheses around it. Times what? Okay, times the sum of all y's, right? Minus the slope times the sum of xy. Okay? And there you go. And then what's the relationship between these two? Okay, they add up to SST. So which means the last quantity, I can just say the bigger one minus the smaller one. That should be the answer. Okay, so these are the answers that we need to plug in. Go ahead and highlight them and see if we've done our computations correctly. So let's go back to our assignment. Where are we here? Okay. And fingers crossed, let's see. 4 decimal places. So what is the y-intercept? Negative 3.4706. Okay. Then slope is 1.3824. Let's check. This looks good. Okay, the total sum of squares, 21.2. So far so good. Let's see, SSE. Okay, what do they want? 3 decimal places, so 8.205. And over here, 12.995. All right. Everything looks good. Okay. So I guess the trick here is to remember or to know where to look up your formulas and just carefully plug them into your Excel spreadsheet. Let the Excel do all the computations for you, and then you're good to go. In reality, what you're really going to need to do or to know is these 2 values. That's what we really need for computations when we're using a linear regression and we want it to use as the model to predict something. Okay? All right. Thank you for watching.